I'm here with radio reporter Barbara Delaleu from 103.9. She's also known as Roxie. First of all, I want to thank you for being here today. The kids really loved what you had to say. I took away a lot of good things that you had to say, so thank you so much for taking time to speak to our college students.
No, thank you so much. It's hard to keep the attention of students sometimes, especially during the day. I know you have classes, but I really appreciate the opportunity of I call her my sister, Professor Nadine Cosby, inviting me here to talk to you guys, burgeoning young leaders and reporters and future radio personalities going out there, because you deserve to hear from someone that's actually experiencing it, and you need to know the real and what's going on so that you know how to prepare yourself when you go out in the real world.
Yeah. So during the series you spoke about what made you want to be a reporter, and I know on radio, and I know your parents were pushing you to become a teacher, right? And then 9/11 happened. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I started freshman year as a Spanish major. I wanted to be a high school Spanish teacher, and as I indicated in my speech, September 11th happened, and that was my turning point. And I realized at that point just the magnitude of the situation. It was so great, and time was so quick when it happened. And again, as I reiterate, life is short, so you want to do something that makes you happy, that you're going to wake up every day and say, I'm so happy I'm waking up and doing this. This is really important work to me, to the people around me, my community, somebody out there that's streaming live from another country. And that's how I wanted to feel, and that's how I always want to feel. And the work is so rewarding and, I guess I can say easy for me, getting up and talking to people, whether it's in Spanish or in English, because I have the ability, even though I left the world of teaching in Spanish, it kind of did a whole 180 for me, because I'm still working in foreign language just on the radio. So that's kind of a blessing. God kind of sneaked that in there. But 9/11 was any tragedy that you go through will change your life and your decisions in your life. And everything happens for a reason. Yeah. Forgot to tell this group that, but everything happens for a reason. You are where you're supposed to be at this moment right now. And things will change. You just have to be patient. As I was telling the student right there, you might feel frustrated at this moment. You might say, I'm stagnant. Why am I not moving up? Where am I going? And that moment that you feel like that you're not patient, that you're not getting what you're getting, is because it's just that close. Yeah. So you just have to hold on a little bit. So obviously I told you guys I can't hold on. I'm not a patient person. Yeah, but
I was a believer.
Right. But I did, and I put my faith in God, took a leap of faith, and never looked back. I changed my major, and I'm happy for that moment. I'm happy for my turning point, and I love what I do.
That's great. So can you describe a little about the internships that you had and how that impacted your career?
I had really cool internships, although they weren't in the studio. I did corporate internships for sales, research, promotions, production. I was a phone operator, a phone producer, so I screened calls for major hosts. I did a lot of that stuff, and what that stuff did for me was give me an extra skill set. So not only did I come with, it was like a full package. So I came to my boss saying, not only do I know how to talk on the air, but I can pick up phones, I can edit my program, I could take pictures, I could work social media, I can post up pictures and make the station look great, I can market the station. So it was like, wow, you know how to do all this? How do you know how to do all this? Because all of my internships included me doing this work. I didn't start off and get the easy way in and go into a studio with a major, huge radio personality. I had to work my way up through that. So I took that as an advantage and said to myself, I'm beefing up my resume, and this is good. Look at it as a good thing, even though I was frustrated because it wasn't the studio. But I said, this will somehow help me get into a studio. So you just got to think that positive.
You talked a lot about networking with the students, and I wanted to know, how did that really impact your career, and how did it help you?
Because once I opened my mouth and said the simple sentence that we hear every day, that we hear from the time that you're in kindergarten and first grade till now, hi, my name is, it opens so many doors. Because that's an introduction to yourself. So hi, my name is Barbara, and I like to do this, or I am from here. So you strike a chord with somebody, and you might relate to someone. never know. You may say, hey, my name is Barbara, and they might be like, mine is too. And that's my mom's name. Or, hey, I'm from Elmont, Long Island. Oh my God, I'm from Valley Stream next door. That's why networking is important, because you just open the floodgates for personal life to happen. You get personal just for a second with somebody, and they'll remember you. And depending on how that conversation went, they'll want to remember you some more and meet you again. That's why networking is important, especially in this industry, particularly this industry. In every industry, you've got to maintain relationships. But in this one, you've got to maintain, create, maintain, create, maintain, create. It's a repeat, step and repeat, over and over and over. You've got to do it because you're going to meet different people. You're going to learn different things, depending on where you work and what station, what market. So you have to know that it's like an art. Even if you're a reporter, you've got to come up to people and interview them, correct?
Yes.
So you've got to know.
Come up to you.
Right. You've got to know the simple things. Hey, what's your name?
Yeah.
I always compare it to like kindergarten. Like when the little kids, that's why I love little kids. They're so innocent. They're like, hi, what's my name? I color blue. Blue is my favorite crayon. And then people then they find 4 other kids that love the color blue.
Yeah.
That's networking. If you could do that at 4 years old, you could do it at 14, you could do it at 24. It's just people, they get either the ego thing or they get shy.
Yeah.
You gotta shy away from that. That's what you gotta do. Just network.
So I know you look up a lot to Wendy Williams. Have you ever met her?
Yes, we worked in the same station. The 5 years that I worked there, out of those 5 years, the 2 years she worked it, and she left in 2011-12 to start her television show. And I was always in the same vicinity as her, in the same room, but we never spoke. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of that in awe. I was just in awe looking at her just work and move in the building. But, I just wanted to be in the same space and just feel that same energy. Yeah. And she had great energy. So not meeting her, but being around her presence, sitting in her chair, talking into her mic, that's how I met her.
Yeah. And you told the students it's really important to have a mentor in your career. Would you say that you sort of shadowed her career and she was your mentor?
She was my secret mentor. Although we never spoke, she was there and I just didn't tell her. Yeah. And we were in the same building, in the same space. I just didn't tell her, but she was teaching me things and she didn't even know it. But when you have a real mentor,
her, basically.
Right. It was like a case study. But when you have a real mentor, obviously you talk to them, you sit in the same room as them, you talk to them on the phone, email. I never got that with her, but that's okay. Because again, everything happens for a reason. So that's how I learned. But the other mentors I have now, I'm very blessed to have. I'm remembering my real mentor's name, Sheba Russell. She is an anchor on Channel 4, her, and a couple of corporate heads from huge companies in radio like ABC, NBC, I have very close to me. They're just a call away, so I'm very blessed to have those caliber of people in my circle, in my phone, in my email box.
Can you talk about the stations that you work for and what your day-to-day schedule is like? Because one thing I noticed that you barely don't have a time to nap, and you're always on the move, and that's kind of what I love about this industry. It's that you're always on the move, and you'll never get bored, basically.
No. You definitely will never get bored, and you will always be moving, always be talking, always be writing, always be reading, always be doing all of that stuff. So I tell people what do they need when they get into this business, and again, it sounds simple, going back to the kindergarten stuff. You gotta know how to read and write, and listen. You gotta listen to other people. What are they saying? I always tell people this. I can't go on the mic and say, hey, it's Roxie and we're on Radio 103.9. It's raining outside. Hopefully you have your umbrella. And then you go outside and it's sunny as hell and it's 90 degrees.
That would suck.
You didn't even check. You didn't research. Yes. You didn't listen to the news, to the weather forecast. Yeah. You didn't do any of that stuff. So now you're not fact checking. As a reporter, you got to fact check 3 times, 3 sources or more before you put it out there. So I've got to check for real to see, is this the truth? Like when Biggie died and when Tupac died and when September 11th happened, we had to check different sources, different websites, different, news reporters and bloggers and see, did this really happen? We're confirming. Tell us, did this happen? How did it happen? Give us the details. Before I get on that mic, I need you to tell me, your boss to tell me, and your boss's boss to tell me that this is happening, so that I don't look stupid. You don't never want to look stupid.
Never.
Because then people are not going to trust your word.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you worked for BLS, right?
Right.
And
Well, I did.
You did.
Yeah.
And you worked in mostly, it was a man's company, basically. You were surrounded by men. Personally, I'm also the president of the men's rugby team at the school, and I love the advice that you gave about presenting yourself as a woman. So I was wondering if you could give more advice about how to kind of act when you're around men and how to be taken seriously.
Right. Fairly simple. Again, I've worked for a lot of stations throughout the years. I've been in radio altogether for maybe 11, 12 years, working from WBLS to WLIB to WBLI to WBAB to WNBM to WWRL. The list goes on, and they've all been different stations. I've worked from everywhere from hip-hop to talk to country to hip-hop to, well, I said hip-hop to R&B and everything. And of course, yes, you know, people point out all the time it is male dominated, but when you get in the room, you have to carry yourself in a certain confidence where people know how to talk to you. So if you're coming into a room with a very, very short skirt and your boobs out of your shirt, people are not going to pay attention to what you have to say, the words coming out of your mouth. Instead, they're going to pay attention to your mouth, to your tongue, to your chest, to your, you know, buttocks. Like, you don't want that. So yes, it is in appearance, it is in how you dress, and it is in how you talk. So what is coming out of your mouth?
Yeah.
You know, are you saying stupid jokes? Are you saying things that may bring attention to things you don't need to be brought attention to? So I'm not walking in a room full of men saying, oh my gosh, you know, it's so hot, let me unbutton my shirt.
Of course.
I think I'll do that.
Yeah.
You just don't do that. You just get to the point. You kind of almost talk like how a man talks. It was like I was saying, the acronym KISS, keep it simple. You go in there, hey, I need to talk to you about this problem, this is happening in engineering, this is how I understand the problem to go, and I need your help in this, and that's it. You don't insinuate anything else. It's the goal of the conversation is to get to what you need, and then you're out. The minute you invite some other, and you entertain some other topic, people are gonna start to look at you different and not take you seriously, and then that's where the respect is lost. So if you know how to present your topic well, you say it confidently, you know, eyes up, contact straight ahead, and you say it, you can smile a little bit, but don't let people, you know, walk over it.
I get that. Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
You do a lot of charity work, and you have a nonprofit organization. And I think the fact that you talked about Christmas morning holidays, you're always doing something else, feeding another mouth, and I think that's really admirable. Can you talk a little bit about your nonprofit organization and your experiences doing that?
No Disrespect campaign happened in summer of 2012. It came about when my business partner and I, Shawnee Culture, he is the morning show producer for Hot 97, came together. We used to talk all the time in studio. We used to both work overnight shows up at BLS Hot 97. And we were talking about Trayvon Martin. That case was really popular at that moment, and we were talking about how much it troubled us that African-American young boys were being targeted, were being shot down, were disrespecting each other in the streets, in their homes, in schools. And we were like, how can we change it? Two people that are on the radio at night, in the mornings, why are people going to listen to us? And how are we going to reach kids and tell them that this is not right, this is not cool, that this is happening, and we need to pay more attention to cases like this so that it doesn't happen to them. And we said, we're going to come up with something where we talk to kids about respect, but how are we going to approach it?
Yeah.
So we kept kind of throwing around the phrase no disrespect, but didn't know we were saying what the campaign was. So I was like, I think we're saying it, we're just not realizing it. So we're like, no disrespect. That's what it is. So we're going to talk to these kids about how important it is when you're in this classroom, as soon as you leave it, you got to uphold the same respect you do when you sit in those chairs.
Yeah.
And when you talk to either a female or a male. And why it's important to do that, because you never want to belittle other people, because that's not how you want to be treated. So our motto is, you give what you get. In order to get respect, you got to give it. And it's as simple as that. We don't go any harder. We talk about, you know, local issues that are happening. If something is happening with kids, like a lot of the brawls and these McDonald's and other incidences that have happened since Trayvon Martin, we talk about constantly in the classrooms. We're like, why is this happening? And then we talk about why it's wrong, why it happened, and what they could have done to avoid it. So it's like a lesson, but we incorporate fun because we bring guest speakers and we have our own DJ. So we play music and we have the kids come up to the stage and share their bullying stories. We share times when they felt like they were disrespected. And we let them all let it out. So whether they're crying or they're smiling or they're dancing, they let it out with us. And we give them that hour to feel like they're not with the teacher, they're with us. And we're like their cool big brother or sister.
Has there been a story that a kid has told that's really made a difference?
Yes. One kid said she was being teased because she was Mexican. And she was in a predominantly black school with Latinos as well. But she was the only Mexican out of them, and they would just tease her. And she didn't know this, nobody knew this, but like I said, I work for a Spanish station in the morning, La Fasora, and I am opposite her in that I am the only Haitian girl on a Mexican station. So I was like, I am learning a lot about your culture, you know that little girl? And she was like, really?
Yeah.
So it was like me and her for a second, it was like the me and her show. She's like, oh, you know about Patrias? And then she started going off, like, looking at me like so happy that I knew about Mexican culture, and I was opposite her. I was the face that usually makes fun of her, knowing about her culture, so she was so happy. And I was like, I'm like proud to work with, your people and learn more about your music. I know a lot about your music. I know a lot about your history, because our hosts talk about Mexico every day.
Yeah.
So I said, tell them, just like how I just told you how proud you are to be Mexican. She got on that mic, she was like, I'm proud to be Mexicana.
That's
and
awesome.
She said that, and she was so happy, and we talked now.
Yeah,
like
that's
little,
awesome.
So that was cool. That was the best story.
Yeah. Okay, so you described Funk Master Flex as in he's completely not who he is, who he's on the
He's
radio.
such a
he's
cool
like
person.
a loud person, but off the radio, he's a family man, really nice and sweet. And on the radio, you said you kind of have this, sometimes you have this persona, but you stay true to yourself.
Right.
So can you talk a little about the importance of staying true to yourself?
Well, as I was telling this young girl, Natasha, who asked me about that, the reason why it's so important to stay true to yourself is that you don't want people to ever think that you just turn it on and off.
Yeah.
And, that gives people a trust issue with you. So you're already getting on the radio talking to God knows how many people, 2 million people, and they're trusting in that every Sunday that they tune into you at 3 p.m. that they're going to get the same barber they got last week. So if I come on next week and I start talking about punk rock and I went to this and I tried this drug and da-da-da, but last week I was talking about how much I love Pope Francis and I was praying all day, and I'm throwing them off. I'm giving them different perceptions, and then they don't know who I am, so they're confused. Everybody in this world always wants to follow a voice, something that gives them confidence. Like people now this weekend following Pope Francis. People are going crazy over this man. So, imagine people going crazy over little old me, because I provide them a voice every week that tells them they already know what they get with me. They get, celebrity stories. They get me talking about my cat. They get me talking about, my student loans. They get me talking about how I change my hair every 3 months. My birthday's coming up soon. I bring a lot to the table about my personal life. That's why I'm a very public person, so certain things I want to keep private. But I do that because I want to let people in and let people know, you can talk to me. It's okay. You can reach out to me, Roxie Digital. Like, I'm not that special that you can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So that's why it's so important to get personal and be yourself, because people are going to start to get to know you and like what you're doing.
And trust you more.
And be like, I like that she likes, tea and crumpets. I like that she jogs every Sunday morning. Oh my God, I like that she's a family woman. I like that she has, twin girls. Oh, so do I. It's kind of like when I told you I always take it back to kindergarten. When the little kid says, I like blue crayon, and then 4 other kids are like, I do too. That's the foundation. So I've given you the foundation of me, so now you're going to always expect Barbara to give you this. Until I choose to change, you're always expecting me to do this. So you develop a routine with somebody. Somebody may really follow you for the next 10 years and be like, oh, here comes Barbara at 10 o'clock. She usually does her morning motivation. Can't wait. So imagine you the minute you change that up. People will be like, what happened?
So confused, I guess.
Everybody will be confused.
Yeah.
So you gotta stay true. You gotta stay that person for as long as you can. People will love you.
Can you talk about a positive and a negative to the media industry, especially being in radio? Like, what's the best thing about it, and what could be a hard or a difficult thing about it?
A positive thing is the intimacy. Like, you know, it's a theater of the mind. So like I was telling y'all, I can come in pajamas and chill out and be as comfortable as I want. Nobody has to tell me what to do. It's like I create my own little rules, and that's cool because, again, that means I get to stay true to who I am, and I like doing that. The hardest thing for me, I'm speaking for me, time. I've worked every shift that nobody wants to work, the morning show, overnights, and that's very hard. But when this is your passion, you can't think about that. So I can't think, I'm not going to do this because I'm not going to work at midnight. Well, then you're just not getting the opportunity. Point blank, period.
Okay, and I just wanted to say one thing that I'm probably going to Instagram later is when you said that it's okay to miss out on the parties. Just
Yes.
get to the point where you can throw your own party. I think that's great.
Yeah. Nobody understands that. They think they have to go to every event.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Sometimes I feel like I'm working too much and I'm missing out on the party. So I really like the fact that you were like, get to the point in your career where you can throw your own party and everyone's going to want to show up because
Right.
you're that successful.
In the beginning, I used to think, oh my God, I'm missing this. Like, Fashion Week, I'm not at all the fashion shows. And then now I'm like, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can get an update from somebody that goes.
Yeah. Of course.
That's me, you know, and I can stay in my own home, in the comfort of my own home, and blog from there, or do whatever. And yes, it will come to the point where I throw my own party at the comfort of my own space with my own friends, with the people I want.
Food you like.
Right. So, you know, not everybody's different. They might want to be around the glitz and the glamour, but I don't care.
That's great.
I don't.
Well, thank you for your time. It's great meeting you.
You're awesome. Very nice interview.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Roxie Digital, ROXIE Digital, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow, that was fantastic.